video, but that's all right. Next month is, I think, June 10th, and I am not going to be available for this. So I'm going to ask you if you want to just skip it or if somebody else wants to step in. And if I don't hear anybody volunteer, we will skip it. So
Well, I can always do it. So just let
okay,
me know.
okay, then we'll do that. You and I can talk about setting it up and going from there.
Yeah, my computer may not be able to handle anything anymore, but
Okay, okay,
we can at
oh,
least
good,
try.
good. Yeah, all of a sudden I'm like, oh, June 10th. Oh, June 10th is Tuesday. It's the second Tuesday. I'm going to be gone. So that's it. All right. Okay. Stacy, you wanted to talk about tasks, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be handy,
Yeah.
nifty.
First, does anybody here use tasks on this? It would be very helpful if you did. So, but I did go in and I did I printed off the things so that I could follow it as I go through because I'm like, I don't use tasks. I should, but I don't. And so we can talk about that a little bit and see what they have to say. And so if we want to do this, Claudia, do you use tasks? She's our pro on this.
No,
Nope.
I do not.
Okay.
No.
I'll tell you who does is Marita does them a lot, but that's it. So if we go into our Roots Magic, and hopefully my computer will what am I doing here? That didn't work. I have to share. Doesn't work otherwise. And we'll do that. Share. Okay. And we will make this go away, and that will go away. All go away. Go away. First of all, if you really are interested in this and we go through it and you're like, oh, I don't remember what we talked about, we can come up, well, let's just talk about this here. Our updates, okay, the last update, I am up to date on that. So you should always be checking over here on the right
We're
hand
not seeing your
side.
screen, Teresa.
It says I'm screen sharing.
But I
I
don't
think
see
this
the
is
screen.
taking a little bit to load up for us. We don't see it yet.
Why would it?
The message says you've started screen sharing, but the screen is black.
Yeah, I see that. Let's see what's going on then. I'm going to stop sharing. We'll come back again. If this isn't going to work, then it's going to be a quick share. And this is my screen. There's my layouts. Share. And what? There we go. Is that better? Okay.
Yes, it is better.
Okay, good. Okay, I don't know why it was black, but it was. Okay, first of all, I started to say down here on the right-hand side, there's updates. You should always double check to see if you're up to date and see if you've downloaded. If it says there's one available to you, mine's up to date, but if one's available to you, you want to click on that. So then the other thing I did is I went over here to the online help, and that's kind of what I get as we go through there. If I click on that, it takes me out of Roots Magic, and it takes me over to a whole thing about which you won't see because that's online about how things to choose, and one of them is tasks. So let's first of all open up a file. So I'm going to open my file, and we'll do that. Okay. So if you notice over here on the right-hand side, it's got tasks, okay? And if I click on it, it shows me tasks that I have put in. So we'll talk about what we're doing. It can be filtered, it can be printed, you can do all sorts of things, including dates, priorities, so forth and so on. You can assign them to folders. So we'll talk about that. And we can actually, you can look at them at the tasks in a folder, and it's called the research log views. So we'll talk about that when we get to it. So I'm kind of thumbing through this as we go through there. So let's say I want to do something with it. So we click tasks over here. Okay. And then up here on the, there's a plus sign on under there, and there's a plus sign over here. And so if I start with this one and I click on this plus, it lets me add a task. So let's make up a task. What shall we say? Urban land records. Okay, and today's the start date, so we'll do 05/13/2025. You notice there's a last edit date. So I can, as I work on this, I can come in and update it to the last time I used it. And then when I'm done, I can put an end date in there. Okay. Now, goal and details. Now, this one you can be as verbiage as you want. And so I could say, check for homestead act records, including GLO/BLM sorry about that, BLM document, and then check for further land purchases and sales through family search records for Geary County. Okay. When did they, and my goal is to learn when the family arrived and what happened to the land after his death, after John Irvin's death. I'm making this up. I have no idea. I don't know if I care or not. So there's my goal. That's what I want to do. Okay. So I'm saying, okay, so now I have a goal. And here's my urban land records. What else? Let's edit this. Okay. Here's my task over here. So I have, this thing's in the way. So there's my last edit date, end date. There's my goal. Here's my results. So I can tell them what I've got. It is a new status. I can put a priority on here. So over here, you notice there's priorities. And so I didn't make it be a priority. It's a priority 1. I think I can change it. How do I change my priority 1? Let's see. Yeah, I can make it medium high. So I've made it a 4th priority. Used. What does that mean? I have to figure that one out. I don't remember that. And then I can add things to it. I can, if I find copies of the land records, I can attach media. I can put my sources in. I can put addresses in. Where did I look for it? My web tags, all the things that you've seen as we go through there. Okay. So I have now created a new task for me, which is
Well, there's your
kind of
used.
fun.
Under task items, that last one is used.
Yeah.
Show us what it is
Okay.
for.
And that's what it says. They don't tell me what that means. I have end date, goal dates. I'm looking at the cheat sheet here. Results, status. We have status, new, in progress, completed, on hold, problem, or canceled. Priority, reference number. I don't see reference number. Oh, it's over there. File and task. I do not see what used is. What do you think it is, guys?
Is there something in the list box? Like if you click the arrow in that box, does it tell you? At the bottom where it says used and yeah, right there.
Oh, this. Okay. I see.
Oh, it doesn't tell us. Date type.
Says date, type, and name.
Huh.
You can put a link in there. I have no idea. Well, let's see if we keep going and they come up with something else.
And
If
it
they tell us
doesn't
what
say
it is.
anything in the book either.
Okay, I don't feel so bad. So, thank you. Glenn's got his book out. I should have gotten mine out too as we go through there. So, So I've added one. So that's it. Now I can add a new one, or I can select the existing tab. So if I go in here and just select John Graham, and I said locate where in Monongalia County the Graham was the Graham property, let's say, was located. This is one of those things of WIG, and I will update that because that is something I do care about. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And then we'll go back. So I can edit that. I can say, oh, I looked at this on November 11th, 2024. So I have made some progress on it. And I could on my this, I could cancel the whole thing. I could say it's a problem, it's on hold. I can do all that stuff. I can just give all sorts of information about my task as you want to go through there. Okay.
Now,
So,
can you click down
um,
on the use there where it shows one down in the task
Yeah.
guide? Click on that arrow and see what that shows since it's not a 0.
It doesn't say anything. It's driving me nuts.
Well, pooh.
I
Maybe
know.
we were onto something.
So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see if there's, I'll keep going. We'll see if something shows up here. So actually there's another way you can do this. You can evidently go to your people. So if you want to go to people, and let's pick out somebody, Thomas. Let's see if we'll put Thomas in here. Okay. So here's my Thomas. And here's my edit form. And supposedly, yes, I can add, if I'm working on Thomas and I'm going through all my things, I'm like, oh, I'm missing something. I don't have to go back to tasks and come over. I can come over here on the right-hand side and add a task right now. So that's the other way to get into tasks, is to add a task as you're working with somebody. So I could add a task. I'm going to say, when identify when Thomas came to America. And we'll say today's date, which is 5/13/2025. And let's see, here's my colon, my details. And we'll say, check the various census records for immigration date. Look for Thomas in city directories in Kansas City. There we go. Okay, so now I have a new. So I've done that from here because arrival, we say 1865. That's just a guess. So that's the best we can do. Okay, so you can do it from the edit person, and you can also let's see, if you want to, you can click on this and add. Let's see. Highlight the fact you want to add a task to, then click the task button. Here's what I wanted to do. And then they say, highlight the tasks button on the edit panel on the right side of the form. Oh, that must be down here. Okay. And then I can add a task. So when I did it last time, this is one I just did, I just added it to Thomas, but I can actually attach the task to the fact. So I would have been better off saying, I wanted to determine when he came and so forth and so on. And that would, my task would be attached to this. So that's pretty good. Okay. So that's got all sorts of ways to put tasks on here. And then if you want to add a new task, you do the task button. We know all that. So we're doing this pretty much. I'm still looking for that thing that says, if they talk about the use, but I don't see it. It says, click the task button in the tasks list. So which one is the task button? Do you see which one's a task? That's not a task. Okay, guys, it says click the task. Oh, I see what the problem is. There we go. Clicking the task column for the fact you want to add a task to has workflows, standard workflow and slide-in workflow. Okay. With the standard workflow, this will this will directly open the list of tasks in the edit panel, exactly the same as above, where you add so forth and so on. So, so here's my tasks. And according to this, I have no tasks, but if I come up to Thomas and do tasks, I have one task. So I can have tasks here, I can have tasks there. I'm just reading this, and I don't think it's something we really want to look at. No. They're telling me I can change how it presents on the form, so I'm not going to do that. That's it. Yeah. I'm not, you have to change your settings, and I'm not up to that today. We know how to edit a task. We looked at that. Okay. I'm coming back to this to see what we got here. The name, the start date, the last edit date, the results, the status, the priority. They still don't say anything about what that, the results, the status, the priority, the reference number. That's just your number. The file name, if you have an external file which holds more information about the task, you can put a file name in there. Edit the task type says, okay, let's talk about that. So let's say I'm working with a tasks, and here's my task, and I want to edit my task. Okay, I've gotten confused because I do have a task. How do I edit the task, guys? I don't know why I'm leading this discussion because I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Okay, let's go back. Let's close this. Let's go to my tasks. Let's go here. Okay. Okay. It says the task type.
It's the last row in the first section. Move your cursor straight up.
Oh, task type there. This task type period. Okay, so this is what you choose. It's totally different than what they say. This is it research, to do, or correspondence? So you can took that one. Okay. So there you go. So you can say it's a research. It's a to me, a research is a to do, but that's fine.
To me,
Okay,
everything's a to do.
Yeah, it is. I don't understand that part. Okay. And then you can attach the media. So if I click on this, it will tell me that there's media attached, or I don't want to do that. Attach media. But you can just go through this whole thing and add the task items, see all the addresses, any repositories. We just click on that and go from there. Okay. And then you can see all the folders the task belongs to. Now, we didn't talk about folders here. So if you're very organized and you want to do folders, okay, you can. Let's see, that's the last one who have that. Okay, you can put tasks in folders. So if you want to do that, to organize yourself, and these folders can hold as many as you'd like, so you can put all sorts of things there. The task folder list is displayed on the left side of the task page. So here's my folders over here. This is one that's called all tasks, is what we're getting here. But I can create a new folder for that. So, but here's a folder I've got with Barrett, and I put James Barrett in there. I could add a new folder. I could do a new one, and I could make this be Patrick Barrett. And my goal, we'll just put a goal in here that's like, where is he buried? Okay. All right. Okay. So now it's, they are now in the Barrett folder. Okay. If I go to Graham's, so forth and so on. If I click all tasks, it shows me everything. Okay. So here's James Barrett, Patrick Barrett. You notice it's being, I'm not sure what's going on here. I thought maybe it was done by date, but it's not. But I could filter it by date by clicking on this, clicking on that priority status. So I can click on any one of these and change how the presentation is and used. So that's my all task view. But if I click on Barrett, all I do is see the two things that I have put in the Barrett folder. And so that's, if you're doing a lot of tasks, that's not a bad idea. And if I want to create a new folder, I can put Irvin and then just say, okay. So now I've got an Irvin folder. And if I go to all tasks, how do I go to John Irvin? And I want to add that to, how do I add that? That's my question. Adding tasks to the folder. There are two ways. Select a folder in the folder list. We've done that. Click the plus button. Highlight any task in the task list and then click add to folder. So I've done this and add to folder. Add to folder down here on the right hand side. So I'm going to add it to a folder and I'm going to add it to this folder. There we go. So now my Irvin has something in it. So although I've got my task going here, I'll do all tasks, but most of these are not in a folder, but now you see I can just move them over and make them be much more organized. That's it. And the last thing they tell us that we can do is filter. Now, I hope you guys are thinking about this. Stacy, I'm going to ask you what would you like to, when we get done with this? So if I go to my task page, I'm right here. We'll go up here, do the 3 dot, and I can filter my tasks. Okay. And it's one of those. The top half of the filter lets you create a filter based on the content. So do not filter by only tasks that have no state, only tasks that start with a date. So let's do that. Let's see what happens. There's my filter. Okay. And okay. So these are the 3 that are filtered that way. So it's interesting, but I don't really care about that. You can do it. Let me go back. Filters, tasks. I can do filter by end date. I can do it by edit date. I can do it by details. So I can say show tasks where details equals or contain results, reference number. I doubt if I'd ever use that, and task type. Okay. So if it's a research item, a to-do item, a correspondence, so forth and so on. And then I can put a date range if I want to, or some other things there and make it complete. So you can filter them. I mean, if you use this substantially, then you might want to have a filter, use the filter. If you're like me and I've only got a half a dozen in there, I'm not too sure I need the filter list as we go from it. So that is a very quick and dirty summary. So Stacy, whoops, go away here. Not you, I'm talking about something here. What would you, if you were going to use, I'm going to stop sharing for now. So I'm looking for each one of you to come up with what would you put in your task list? Okay. Stacy, what would you put in? What would you be thinking? Would you go in and look at an individual and then start tasks based on those individuals and just start that way?
Yeah, I would want to know, I would want to find my ancestors that immigrated from Wales. I would like to know which generation immigrated and from where, what year and from where. So,
Okay.
I mean, that's a huge puzzle for me. I don't have any of those facts.
Okay.
Um, I could make a best guess as to who the immigrants were based on just what I haven't found on them yet.
So if you would you put a generic task in there, or would you do it person by person, immigrant by immigrant? Would you, have a task for John and another one for Hugh and another one for Llewellyn, or how would you organize it, you think?
I think I would need to have a task per person
Okay.
because I don't need, if I were just to put in like my task is naturalization, find naturalization records. I mean, I could need to find those for 100 people.
Sure. Sure.
So I think I'd rather have each person and then what I need to find for that person,
Okay.
because that'll vary, right? So.
Yeah, it would. And you'd actually get to complete a task. Whereas if
Right,
if you have
exactly.
if you have a generic one, it'll never be done because there's always somebody that's hanging out there.
Like at the conference, I came to you for a little bit of help on finding a naturalization record.
Mhm.
And it was my second great grandfather. And I actually did find a naturalization record with the full text search. I mean, the date was right, the place was right, the name was right, but the spouse wasn't right. And then I figured out it was my great great grandfather's uncle by the same name.
Oh,
So it was still a naturalization record that I was glad to find. It just wasn't who I thought it was.
yeah.
But it was cool. So something like that would be something I would create a task for.
Okay.
And let's just say I assigned that task to my great great grandfather, and then I figured out it was his uncle.
Mhm.
I would want to edit that task, assign it to a different person.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how, I don't know how you would do that. There's probably, I'm sure in the edit, there's a way, because you can move it from task to task. So I'm
Mhm.
assuming, or you might have to start from scratch and cancel that and start a new one. So you go from there. So what are the odds that your great great grandfather's brother came with him,
Or his uncle.
uncle? I mean, yeah.
Well, that would mean that his father and his father's brother would have come, and I haven't gone back far enough to know if they came at the same time.
Okay, that'd be interesting to know.
So yeah, it definitely would be interesting to know because I believe my great great grandfather was a young man. I think he came with his family, but I think he was a young man.
Mhm.
I think I think his kids may have been babies when I don't know.
Okay, I just was asking. This was
Yeah.
have nothing to do with what we're doing here. I was just asking
Right,
about.
right. Yeah, sorry.
That's all
Don't
right.
mean to get off on
Okay.
in a rabbit hole there,
Okay.
but
Glenn, do you use tasks? Not necessarily in this, but are you one of those organized people that has a research log and a task list?
No,
Okay.
I could see it, like if I was working on something and I had something else I had to do, I had to leave,
Mhm.
but I had like I identified two people that I wanted to merge, but I didn't have time to figure out which parents were correct or something. I
Mhm.
could see marking it as a task to come back to the next
mhm.
time I have a chance to
Sure.
sit
Sure.
down and work on it.
Yeah, and so that leaves a breadcrumb so you know where you were at the time, which helps because
Mhm.
can't get lost in that. Verlin, do you use tasks or would you think you do this? Yeah.
I do have a list, but I haven't really used it much.
Mhm.
But I've done it like if I want to find a marriage, birth, or death certificate, but I can't find it like on Ancestry or for Family Search website. And I have a local genealogy library that I could check there because they have
Sure.
some things.
Mhm. You know, and that, you know, that's another thing is you could make notes of all your negative results that you looked here and you look there and you look there so that, you know, if you come back to it 6 months later, you don't find yourself doing it again, which is kind of important. You know, hope springs eternal that maybe something new has shown up, but that's not a good idea. Doesn't happen very often. John, Terry, do you use this with your at all? I'm not even necessarily this one. I'm just, do you have a formal research task list that you know, like when you're headed off to New England?
Yeah, I normally just write everything down. And that way I can page through wherever I'm at. I don't have to turn on my computer. I don't have to do anything like that.
Okay.
So from that standpoint, I probably would continue that as opposed to,
Well, I know that you can print a task, I'm assuming. That might
Yeah.
be one way to do it, you know, but you might have 15 pages, 15 individual sheets. But if you use a filter, maybe you can make it work. I don't know.
That's what I like about this.
Mhm.
You mentioned printing a task. We can print our whole task list.
Mhm.
And for me, that would be the same purpose as, you know, what John just said about writing it down. Because for me, when I write something down, I might write it on a sticky pad. I might write it in this notebook or that notebook or whatever. And I wouldn't keep everything together that way. That would be hard for me, but it would be easy to put them all in here and then print off my task list when I want to go somewhere.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then I could actually use that task list as I'm gonna write my notes on there. If I print it up on paper, I take it somewhere, I'll write my notes on there. Like you said, so you don't have to pull out your computer all the time.
This is something that they did talk about here, and I'm going to go back and share again. Share, hopefully it's black. There you go. Okay. They say if you are in a specific folder, okay, let's say it's the Barretts, okay, there's an additional way to review the tasks in a folder. This is called the research log view and is only available when viewing the research task, viewing the task for second file folder. So how did we get to that? Here it is. So, where is that? I'm in, I only have one in my Patrick. That's kind of weird, but that's it. So I've got this and they tell me, I come over here. What's going on? There's their tasks. I'm looking at what they've got. Research log. Where does it say research log? Supposedly we can get a research log out of this. There's print task list. Here it is.
Go.
Print research log report. Let's look at the research log.
Like that.
Oh, down here, I had to regenerate the report. Okay. So I am generating the report and I'm getting, there we go. So if you put everything in a research, in a file, an individual file folder. So let's say you're doing the Smith family and you've dumped everything in that Smith file folder. Once you have done that, then you can print off a research log and take that with you and see what happens. So this isn't the best example because I don't have much on there, but let's see if we can do that again. Come on, go away here. So what I did is I opened this up here. I came up to the three little dots and I said print research log report. They should be able to just see it. Then it came down here and I generated the report. I'm wondering why I can't do that without just why I have to go through a print, but it generates the report and then I can do it. So, you know, that would kind of solve your problem of not having to want to carry your computer around with you or check things, John. So that's your research log. So when you're headed out to go into the wilds and see what you can do, that's
Yeah,
that's
that
the way
might
it
work.
is. That might work. No, cancel that. Let's stop sharing. I know that Marita in the past years has done a task. It's like she's going to a cemetery, so she chooses, well, that's not really task. She just prints a list of everybody she thinks is in the cemetery and then wants to go there. So we go from there.
Well, I
Does
could
anybody
see
else?
myself using folders for that. Like, if I know, okay, I'm gonna do cemeteries on Memorial Day weekend or something. I could create a cemetery folder and then put all of the
Mhm.
tasks related to cemetery in that folder and then print off that folder as one list. Or I could, make a naturalization records folder or a birth certificates folder, or, if I wanted to do it that way, but then I could still have each task assigned to a specific person.
You could, and I think if you, when you created the task and you put the name in there and you included cemetery in it, then I have a feeling that you could use a filter to pull out at every task that has the word cemetery in it. And therefore it would, it would give you a list and then you can do some other things with that. So there's a way to do it. It's all right. Audrey, what about you? Would you use this? Yeah, I'm laughing about it. Her attitude to the research log is a lot like mine.
It sounds like
Not
a
so
really
much.
good idea. Maybe someday.
Faint praise as we go through here. That's all right. Okay, that's it. And Marcia, you were looking at it in detail, it looked like. So. Oh, you're muted. You got to talk to us louder.
I go by the, taking my own little notebook with my hand notes,
Mhm.
in a bound notebook, a spiral or something, and
Yeah.
and then I put tabs on that,
Okay. Okay. But we got bells and whistles on this one. John and Lewis, what do you have to say about this? What do you think? Oh, I think you're muted. Something's going on. I'm not hearing you, but you're not muted. I don't know. We can't hear you. So if you go down to the bottom and hit audio and select a microphone or check your, yeah. I'm not sure what's going on. We
Yeah, he doesn't have his
yeah,
microphone.
yeah, your microphone's not on, so we don't get to hear you, John. Sorry. Life is just tough. That's all right. Okay. Anything else? What else do we want to talk about today? We went through it pretty quickly. Is anybody using this lately? That's it.
I will use it.
Okay. What else are you doing through Roots Magic? Has anybody added a fact or a person onto your Roots Magic lately? Anybody?
How about deleting 3,000 people?
Okay, that was good. Why did you delete them?
Well, it's gonna happen. I'm
Okay.
deleting them over here, and then it's gonna sync over into Roots Magic in a brand new shiny thing.
Tree. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all right. It's okay. Claudia, are you doing any work at all? I mean, you haven't been home that long, so you're probably still
Like
kind
all
of.
3 weeks, right? No, actually, I have because I started something when I was in Florida, and the Florida group, we kind of were talking about it a lot.
Mhm.
And it's just something I wanted to create a report with, just because I've got cousins that ask questions that are. It's just I had too many people die in about a 2-month period, and everybody says, "Well, what's their email address? What's their phone number? Yada yada yada." So I created a fact called contact info.
Oh,
And in the contact info fact, I included a street address, a phone number, and an email address.
okay.
And that way I could print. It's basically for my generation.
Mhm.
And that way, if I can print a custom report that shows this cousin, his email address, his phone number, and then what I can do. And then I asked for all the next generation, all of my, so it'd be the second cousins,
Mhm,
for all their information if they had it.
mhm.
And so in addition to that, when I print the list, I've got like a cousin and their information. And then because I could do a custom report, I added to the report a field called mother and father. And that way, if I see a cousin, second cousin, it's like, okay, now who does this kid belong to? Then when I print the report, his parents show up, which would be my cousins.
So you created a fact called contact information.
Right.
Now, did you put the information in notes, or did you add, how did you
No, contact information, I put it in the field.
in the
So I
field?
had like the,
Can you show, could you show us just one? Would you mind
I
doing
can't
that?
because I got one thing on the screen that I have to have on for work right now.
Okay, well
Um,
then we won't do that.
let me
Well, let
see
me,
if I can-
let's see. Let's pretend I'm gonna do this. Sorry about that. I'm gonna share. I'm gonna do this. And you're gonna walk me through how I do this.
I've
Okay.
gotta,
Okay, let's just pick somebody. We'll do Thomas. Okay. So I've got Thomas, I've got this. So I'm going to add so I'm gonna designate a new fact type, right? Whoopsie daisy. It's an individual fact. Okay. And it's called contact.
I just called it contact info.
Yeah, info. Okay.
And then in the place field, then I included the data field, the place field, and the description field.
Okay. All right. So we did that.
And the description
Oh, in the
field.
description field. Okay, we did that. All
Okay.
right. You must enter a
And I
name.
really-
Oh, I didn't put an abbreviation, so I'll just say contact. There we go. Okay. All right.
And
now I can do it. Okay. So now
then
I've
what
got,
I did
okay.
is
So
if I
let's go
put that
down.
on, just,
Let's, there we go. Okay. So now I'm going to put some contact information in for him. So,
right, and I don't use a date on it. I just want it at the
Okay.
bottom.
okay.
So in the place field, I put the
I
address.
put an address. 123 Main Street, Anytown. Okay.
And in the
And the
place
place-
details, I put an email address.
Okay. So email at gmail. Okay. .com.
And in the description field, I just put a phone number.
Okay. Okay. Good. And
And
then,
I don't know that I really needed a sentence for it. I just wanted the information.
okay. So you could just do it under notes, right? And put,
Yeah, but if I put it under notes, then I can't pull it into a custom report.
oh, okay.
So I wanted a custom
So-
report. So,
Okay. So
you can
where
define
did you,
this
so where
I
did you
think in
put
the-
the parents?
in the custom
all right.
report.
Oh, okay. I see what you're talking about. Okay. So now I've done that.
Yeah, I mean, you can make a sentence if you don't have a, you
Yeah.
probably need to make a sentence. I think mine, I just had the, I did the person's name, and then I said contact info, quote, and then I said address is, and then I put,
Okay.
the place, and then email is,
Okay.
and then I put the
Okay.
place detail showing that, and then phone was a description.
Okay.
And it doesn't, the
So-
sentence doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it doesn't really matter.
So we have, it's been a long time since we've done sentences. So if I want to put in name, do I put that in
Okay,
square
so if you
brackets?
put person, you put person in bracket,
the square
person,
brackets.
bracket.
Just a minute. Where's my square brackets? There they are. Oh, no, I don't want sticky keys. Okay. Person. Okay.
And then after that, I just said contact info.
and that goes in brackets again. Everything goes in
No, just by itself, because that's the name that I want.
info. Okay.
And then in the next line,
Okay.
I said address is colon.
I'm sorry about I can't type. Is colon, and then I put in place.
like the little arrow, the little greater than, less than things.
Oh, okay,
So a less than, a
okay.
bracket, place, a bracket, and a greater than.
Place and then greater than.
Okay, you need around the place, just before the place, you need to put that square bracket.
Oh, again, okay. This is like doing
Bracket.
algebra. This is like doing algebra again.
Square bracket,
Less
greater
than,
than.
greater than. Okay, so
And then in the,
I got to put an R in here and another S in here. It's driving
and
me
you need to
nuts.
put a greater than at the end.
Okay. Where'd my grade? There it is. Okay. Wait, oh,
No.
there we go. Okay.
And in the next line, I
Yeah.
said email is colon,
And then we did the same thing, greater than,
and then it's a greater, less, yeah,
yeah, less than,
less than.
bracket.
then-
And then we did place details, right?
Right.
It's been long since I've done this.
And
End
place
of a
detail,
close.
place details is one word.
Okay. We're gonna get ourselves a new and then greater than.
And then you need the
Yeah.
You need to fix.
less than at the beginning and a greater than at the end.
Yeah, I got the one on the beginning, just didn't get the one at the end. I
And then
keep
at the
forgetting to hit
next
my
line,
uppercase. Well, let's just
Yep.
quit from that. Okay, we got that far. So
Okay.
I'm going to say
Save it.
okay. I'm going to say okay. And there we go. So now you're telling me I'm going to go over to my reports. We're going to go out of this.
Oh, look at your sentence. It already makes sense.
It
Yeah.
does until you put in the phone number.
And then it
Oh.
doesn't work. Okay. So then I could
It
go
just
in.
said phone is, but then it doesn't, the phone is, but it doesn't.
Doesn't work that. So then I would come under publish. I would come up to what do we call custom report, right?
Yes.
And then I'm going to
I need to find,
What
I
am
need
I
to
going-
find my paper notes. Hold on just a second. So I can-
okay.
It'll take me a second to do that.
Okay. I'm going to say maybe add a report that says contacts. I'm going to make that be. This may be a little more difficult.
Yeah, it really,
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Column 1. That's okay. Items in the header will print at the top of each page. Okay, that's all right. Enter the name. Oh, contacts. Okay. That's it. Now, edit.
okay,
that doesn't-
no, then, what I did in row 1, because I don't, you
Yep.
really don't need right to start with, but in row 1, you
Yeah,
have to,
okay.
you have to give the field name. And so that
Which
I gave,
was person, right?
yeah, name given. You have to use a field that it's telling it about.
So where, it's not letting me put it in.
Select
Oh,
field
it's
at
up
the
here.
top.
It's up on top. I'm sorry.
Right.
Name given. Now let's try name again.
That has to be in
I
row
started-
1.
Yeah. Name. I started typing, it didn't work. Name,
Go to the
surname,
select field, put your,
name
on the
given
select
surname.
field,
Yeah.
on the drop down,
Yeah. I have name, surname given, and names given surname. I've got
Yeah.
choice of 2. Which one do I want?
depends on the
Surname
order.
given.
If you do name dash given,
I see. Okay, we'll do that. We'll do it that way. There's my row 1. So now I'm going to add another
and then
row.
in column 2, then put,
Select
like-
field. Was it place name?
no, you just take and pick the field like the, second.
How long did it take you to figure out how to do this stuff?
Oh, probably not very long.
Okay.
I mean, once I decided what I was gonna do, then I could, but I mean,
Mhm.
it took a while. I mean, it just
Okay.
kind of, we talked a lot about it and it made me mad that I couldn't figure it out. And then all of a sudden it dawned on me what to do. So then like the next field over, I did contact info place.
I need to delete. I screwed this up. That's all right. Next row, what, next column over?
Yeah, go to select a field.
Yeah. And we're gonna do contact.
Yeah, up there over the drop down menu
Yeah,
at the top.
yeah.
And then I selected contact info place.
See, here's my problem. I do this.
Let the menu drop down and let it pick it. So you
Yeah,
can
I was
see
gonna say,
everything.
because it just doesn't wanna, I'm not doing it
Put
right.
hit the arrow at the drop down arrow on the end.
Yeah, I see it. And now I've got my list.
And then
So
just pick contact info place.
I keep thinking if I just
You
contact
can't spell it, you
info.
need to pick it.
Yeah, okay. All right. So we did
And then the
that.
next field over, I did
Uh,
contact info description. And to add it, you just you can add at the top there.
Insert column to the right. Okay,
Yep.
we got a new one, and then we'll do our contact. We will do a contact. Okay, and we'll just see what happens.
I did contact info description.
Yeah. There we go. Okay.
And then, I mean, you didn't do, I don't remember
That's
what
all the
we
more
put
I
in.
put in
But
there.
then like
So,
in the next field over, I
Mhm.
did father name, mother name, and that told me who the child belonged to, told me who the person
Okay.
belonged to.
Okay. Okay. Well, I could do that, but yeah. Okay. So let's add one more. Oops, well, we're putting these in the wrong order, but that's all right. And we'll do father name. We just pick father. Father. I'd like to be able to type and then just have it. Father name. Okay. All right. These are going to be way out of order. So I'm going to select report. And then I'm going to generate a report. Let's see what happens. This will be interesting to see. And
The-
I got everybody.
You know, as a people to include, you're gonna have to kind of narrow it down to, you know,
Yeah.
marking your records and stuff like that.
Okay. Okay.
Put it
So-
on, you put it on one person, but you can kind of see right there where,
Yeah. So I get Bridget, Catherine, I get all the people, but it has 160. So I'm not getting everybody. But I'm
and it's
getting
so
just
long
odd.
because it's long because you've got,
Oh, multiple people on a page.
well,
Yeah.
you've got all those spaces in between. You know, you put the
Mhm.
extra lines in your report.
Sure.
Oh,
Sure.
yeah.
But it's
But see, you can
including
see you've got
everybody.
the name and that. Now, if that first person would have had you know, the address and all
Yeah,
that kind
it
of
would have shown
information,
up.
it would show up going across on
Mhm.
like on a spreadsheet looking report.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm gonna.
So you asked what I've been doing, that's what I've been doing.
Well,
it
we
worked.
always like to. It works. Okay. I'm going to stop sharing.
That's really cool.
That's a great idea. It's a great idea. That's it. Okay. Anything else? Hi, John. Still can't hear you.
Shoot.
Still can't hear you. Your microphone's not picking it up for some reason.
He has
I
to
don't
go
know.
over to that little arrow and select a microphone.
Yeah, John, yeah. Can you go down and
He's
are you on a
muted
Mac
now.
or are you on a PC?
He's muted now. There.
Now he's
Right.
not.
He just doesn't have the microphone selected.
Right, and I understand
Yeah.
that, but he was also muted, but now he's unmuted.
Yeah,
He's-
well, he hit that on the
he-
other side, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's trying to do you know.
yeah. So if I could show you, but you can't show somebody, if I go over to my audio, it says headset microphone and
There's
so
a
forth
little
and so on.
arrow.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a little arrow next to the audio and it tells you to select a microfilm. So, all right, that's tough.
Yeah,
okay,
and if
'cause
you
we like to
start
hear.
off the meeting and you don't connect, because it'll ask you, do you want to connect?
Yeah. Oh, that might be that we didn't connect you. He can hear us though,
yes.
so that's all right. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So we've done 2 things tonight, which is not bad. Not
Yeah, we
bad at
did
all.
great.
We've learned something. We've learned something about tasks, and we've been inspired by Claudia's special custom report. I suppose we should maybe next time, or one of these times, we don't have to do this next time, is talk about writing sentences. It's not hard. You just have to think about it as you go through, or custom, modifying it. So that's it. Okay. And Stacy shared a file in the meeting. So what file did she share with us?
Just a screenshot for John.
It didn't show up.
Yeah, it's there.
Here. Okay. Let's see if we can get this to show up here. So this is what we're looking for, John. If you go down to the bottom, I don't know if you're on a Mac or a PC, so that makes all the difference in the world. But if you go down for a PC, you go down to the bottom left corner and you click the little arrow that's next to the microphone. And up there it says select a microphone and we'll get a thing that says select a microphone or select a speaker. And I don't know if you can see that or not. Okay. And then you have to, my microphone, hers was the one that's attached separate. You can do same as system as well. So it'll go from there. Yeah.
You can try one or the other.
Yeah. Try one or the other. See what happens. Oh, no, he's muted himself now. So that's very frustrating. I'm still in trouble from, I can't get any sound out of my computer unless I'm wearing earphones. And they messed with my stuff when we were doing the conference, and I think that's what happened to it. So I need to take my computer in and say, guys, fix this for me. In fact, I should go back and look at what I've got for. It says same as system, headset, speakers, so forth and so on.
Anything now?
Oh, yeah.
Yay!
John?
Yeah, that was great. Thanks, Stacy,
that-
for doing the screenshot.
I thought you would just simply banish me to the outlying area someplace. Get that guy out of here. He's taking too much time. I would say,
We would never say that.
well, there's been a good session, and I've heard all you've said.
Good.
As far as my using tasks, I'm not nearly as sophisticated as you people are. I've used mine mainly almost as a to-do list.
Mhm.
And just when I'm doing something, I can just put it over there and then later look down through it and go do the things that I said I would do.
Mhm.
But this has been a good session. Appreciate it.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. And as I started out at the very beginning saying that I'm not going to be here next month, but Audrey said she would kind of step in and do something, and I'll get Sherry Snodgrass to work with you on that so that she.
Yeah, that's fine.
But
Yeah,
what
I'll just make Stacy do another something.
Yeah, what maybe we go back to the basics, which is, adding people, adding tasks, customizing a task, adding a new task of different kinds, just the basics. Sometimes it's a good time to think about that. And if any of you have ever done that kind of thing, have added a new field like she did, what kind of fields have you added and why did you do it, and some things like that.
Mhm.
And then what's the other thing that you can do? If you add information, there's a way to add information and then have it be for everybody in the family, isn't there? Have we talked about that lately? So maybe maybe Audrey, you and I will have a conversation about things and work our way through it. So that's it. Okay, so I think unless somebody's got something else we want to talk about, that's pretty much it. And you notice my speaker's working and I'm not plugged in, so some sort of miracle worked.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I don't have
There at the bottom, Teresa, with the up arrow, does it say select a speaker? Does it say speaker is Realtek audio on it? No.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. But last for the DNA thing, we did everything. It says same speakers, same as Realtek. But last time, I mean, I couldn't get anything on Zoom. I couldn't get anything on YouTube. I couldn't get any sound out of this unless I was plugged into these. I have no idea what happened to it. So
And then you restarted your computer, didn't you?
I did restart my computer.
Yeah.
I learned something about Ancestry. I mean, Sherry gives me a bad time about this all the time with Ancestry. Is if you don't log out of Ancestry, okay, when people go in, have you ever gone in on Ancestry and looked at somebody that you're interested in and it says last time logged in? If you don't literally log out of Ancestry, it shows that you haven't logged in 6 months, although you've been on there every day. So you need to log out and log back in periodically.
I'm not sure if that's true because I don't and log out and it says I'm active every day.
Okay, well then I don't feel bad about it. She told me I was in trouble.
Well, you do have to, and that will log you out, clear your cache, you know, and that does make it go a little faster if you're logged, you know, they always say, oops, we're having trouble, you know.
Round and round and round you go. So that's it. Okay.
Yeah.
IT is always special. IT is always special as we go through there. That's it. Okay. Anybody going somewhere this summer on a research trip? Nope. John, you going somewhere? John Jerry goes in some every winter, don't you?
Yeah, I'm going down to Missouri.
Down to Missouri. Okay. It's all right.
What part?
I'll go eastern and central.
Okay.
Central will be Webster County around Seymour and Marshfield, just east of Springfield. And the other one is more toward Cape Girardeau.
Okay.
I have family in Greene County, but Springfield.
Springfield. Yep.
Okay. Good.
Got a lot of family there.
Good.
I have a lot of people buried there too. And I will say Missouri has the worst cemeteries of any state I've seen. They are the worst.
They don't take care of them.
Nope. They would pile them all up, put the stones against a fence, and then the farmer just plows it over.
We have laws in Iowa now. Key is you got to enforce them, but you can't do that. So that's it.
Yeah, Iowa's nice. They have little townships, you know, and they're all squared off.
That's it. For those of you that weren't part of the DNA group, we're talking about cemeteries, and I know John was there and Audrey was there, but we had somebody that got a very interesting phone call, and it turned out it was from the coroner in Jefferson County, Colorado, which is Denver, and asked, "Are you Kathy Krogmeyer?" She said, "Yes."
Sorry, my dog just came home.
We're wondering if you could help us identify a body. And she's like, "Oh." And he said, "Do you have family that was in Colorado?" And she says, "Well, how recently?" And he goes, "In the 1880s, they had dug up a body that they were doing something to a school. And they said, we don't think there's no foul play. It looks like it was a formal burial because it's 6 feet down and so forth and so on." And they had gone to the effort of getting paying a lab to do a DNA analysis. And Kathy's cousin evidently has participated in either Family Tree DNA or GEDmatch. And they contacted her, and she's like, "Well, you need to talk to the genealogist in my family." And so that was Kathy, and she did find out that her great-grandfather's brother worked in the railroad in Colorado. And then she also found a note where he died in 1885. So pretty sure that's whose body they dug up. And she was asked to transfer her DNA over to Family Tree DNA and see what happens. So cemeteries can be fun places, but that's an interesting phone call that you get every once in a while. So that's it. Okay, I'll let you guys go. And I won't see you next month, but I will see some of you as time goes on. And otherwise, we'll be back in July. Okay. So
Thank you.
You all have fun, and I'll see you. The rest of you will see each other in June. Okay. Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.